Maps I find amazing. Half of the world lives in the red. That is absolutely crazy. So the Indian plus Chinese population is equal to the population of the rest of the world. 2 countries out of like 200. What's the third most populated country? Is it America? It is United States, 4% of the world. And then Indonesia is number 4, which you do not think of. The entirety of continental South America lies east of Michigan. Right, so they're saying all of South America is more east than this line, which is mental because I think if I was to draw North and South America, I'd put them directly on top of each other, but South America's way over here. How is it all the way over there? It's not all the way over there, is it? That's weird. Did you think it was directly underneath? Please let me know. Maybe I'm just stupid. World Mercator map projection with true country size and shape added. Okay, so we can actually see how big countries are in comparison to each other without it getting distorted by the map. You can see that Africa's basically all accurate, but Greenland, Canada, and Mexico, they shrivel right down. Even these Scandinavian countries get like right shriveled as if it's a really cold day. The Republic of Ireland extends further north than Northern Ireland. What is going on? That's another thing you don't think of. In my head, Northern Ireland just like cut right across this bit, but Republic of Ireland goes right around the corner to the west. What? Each section contains 10% of the world's population. Right, this just shows how unevenly spread out we are. There's an equal number of people in this green area as there is in this light red slither. That is mad. And I guess that's because of just how densely populated India is. And then we've got China, it's all compact over on the east. Because I think 96% of China are all like this area. Hang on, there's a map for that. Okay, it wasn't 96, it was 94. You see, 94% of the population of China live on this side of the line, and only 6% are in this whole area. Then we've got basically no one lives in this area of Russia. Not very many people live in New Zealand and Australia, but then you do have a lot of people in Indonesia and like Singapore, those areas. And China obviously is within that same section. This dark red one's surprising. I guess that's because of all these African countries, because the African population is pretty massive, and I think proportionally it's growing a lot faster than everywhere else. Which country is across the ocean? So if you're in San Francisco and you were to just travel west in a straight line for ages, you'd hit Japan. So there's nothing in the middle. That's weird. So what if you were to go the other way? Say you're going from Boston. If you went from Boston, you'd get to Spain. See, that's another thing. This feels so north in the world. So you'd think if you were traveling totally east from Boston, you would hit like Scotland or like Norway. But you don't. You hit Spain. I need to look at a map again. Okay, so we're like here and we go all the way along and we should be bumping into the top of Scotland, surely. Let's have a... We don't. We hit Spain. I thought the continents were like this, but they're more like this. Melbourne is closer to Antarctica than it is to Darwin. Okay, they're pretty equidistant of each other, but I think just because of the way maps are distorted, it looks a lot further away, but they're both about 3,100 kilometers. The northernmost part of Brazil is closer to Canada than it is to the southernmost point of Brazil. Brazil is absolutely ginormous. We'll get up the True Size website. Look at that. It stretches all the way across these countries. When you drag Brazil over Europe, it just absolutely dwarfs it. What's it like compared to Russia, you know, the biggest country? It's pretty close, you know. Look at that. Oh. Oh my god, we've got a GIF. Why spacecraft orbits look like a sine wave on a flat map. Right, I'm stressed about this. Okay, so he's going round and round. Ah, but because the world is rotating as he's going round, in the end, it creates that. Fair. Interesting. Oh, this is amazing. Right, so on the New Zealand government website, when there's like an error and it's page not found, they show a picture of the world map missing New Zealand, because New Zealand is commonly missed when people are drawing maps. Great stuff, New Zealand government. Very funny, very epic. There's a straight line between Liberia and China that stretches 13,000 kilometers without crossing any ocean or major body of water. Just so happens to go through that little connection between Egypt and Israel, which is what allows us to go so far. But it does say major body of water, so technically there is still water there. See, look, you see that? I bet it goes right through that. By the way, I'm getting all these amazing maps from Amazing Maps Twitter account. There'll be a link in the description. While you're down in the description, click that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much. Only 5% of the entire world's population live in the blue shaded regions. For comparison, another 5% lives in the red shaded area. Whoa. Yeah, so people think that we're going to run out of space for humans, but basically most of our space is not being used for humans to live in. So much of our land is just like used for agriculture, so we're not going to run out of space anytime soon. But this is just insane. So that's not even India or China. I think that's like Bangladesh, isn't it? Yeah, that is Bangladesh. And then following a similar theme, nobody lives here. Parts of New Zealand with no inhabitants. So this proves my point, because New Zealand is just full of fields with sheep in it. Look at that. 78% of New Zealand's total area has just got no one living in it. 78%. Climate analogues across Australia. Oh, this is very interesting. So they're basically like comparing the climate to other parts of the world. So sort of the middle of Australia is equivalent to the Sahara Desert. Jeez. So when I went to Australia, we did what basically everyone does, and we just like went up the east coast, and it basically felt very, very hot in comparison to the UK. And we were there during Australian winter as well. But we got to experience a South African climate, a southern Brazil climate, and then a USA, specifically Florida climate. It got so hot up here as well, so I don't think I would cope well in India. And obviously the Sahara Desert, that explains why nobody lives in this area of Australia. But interestingly, Tanzania, which is this little island underneath Australia, if you don't know, that is very similar to the United Kingdom. Never went to Tanzania, but apparently it's nice. Turkey borders 7 countries with 7 different languages. Can I name the countries though? That's the question. Okay, Turkey, obviously. That is Greece. That is... I have no idea. Serbia? I want to say Serbia. And then what else have we got? Is this Armenia? I'm definitely guessing here, by the way. I'm going to say this is Azerbaijan, and then this is Georgia. I don't think that's right. And then this one, I'm going to say is Uzbekistan. Oh, and then this big one, I'll say is Jordan? I don't know. I'm really not sure. We are checking. Oh, it was Syria. What an idiot. Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. I said the right countries, but I got them in the wrong place. And then that was Bulgaria. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, everyone. Oh my god, it's another GIF. Route of Nicole, the great white shark. She swam 11,000 kilometers from Africa to Australia in just 99 days. That is absolutely amazing. Look at that. Look at her go. Go on, Nicole. I had no idea they went that far. That's like basically like halfway around the planet. Guys, can we get a like for Nicole? Leave your support for Nicole in the comments down below. Thank you. A map of the world made from time zones. Okay, right. Can we work out what's going on here? No. So some countries like to just like have one time zone for the whole country. So I think that is the case in China, which I believe is this whole area there. And that is a very India-shaped area. So I guess India do the same. It makes a lot of sense for India because when you look at like the standard lines, this little easterly point in India just happens to tip into the next time zone effectively. So there's not much point in this small part of India having a 1 hour time difference to the rest of the country. That's just going to complicate things basically. But China, for example, is in like 5 different potential time zones. So that means it gets dark very early in like some points in China. All these little funny shapes here, they're due to the tiny oceanic island countries, I believe. Map of the world, but all the countries are social distancing. Whoa, that looks incredible. They're spread out they are. That's when you get to see how many countries are actually kicking about. Oh, that's Europe. That is so weird. Then what's here? What on earth is going on here? Have they just moved a bunch of the small African countries over here for space purposes? I'm confused. And what happened to Madagascar? Why is everyone staying so clear of Madagascar? 50% of Canadians live south of the red line. Now that is crazy, because that is a tiny area. Obviously, as all JackSucksAtGeography viewers know by now, this area up here is nowhere near as big as it actually looks, but that is still pretty insane to visualize. The Roman Empire at its peak, superimposed over modern day borders. I always find this really interesting because in the UK at school, you're taught like just how epic the Romans were in terms of conquering places. And yes, they managed to conquer a big area like around the Mediterranean, but it was kind of always implied to us that they were the biggest conquerors of like all time. But what I only learned about recently was the Mongol Empire, which, as you can see, conquered a much bigger area than the Roman Empire. Like, that is absolutely ginormous and kind of dwarfs the Romans a little bit. The world in proportion to sheep. So basically what we're learning is there are like no sheep in North America, and then a much higher proportion of sheep in the UK. South America particularly has a big old bubble, and then we've got a very fat New Zealand down there. That's too many sheep. We don't need that many sheep. Regional giraffe patterns. So over in, what's this, like the Kenya area, giraffes have this kind of pattern, very textured, whereas over in West Africa, they've got a much more spread out, larger shape, and then down in like South Africa and Angola, it's kind of a bit more of a combination of the two. That is cool. I wonder what the evolution behind that is. Got to be related to like the types of trees or something, I don't know. If you know, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this JackSucksAtGeography episode. Subscribe for more. I do upload at least once a week, and I'll see you later.